This is actually at about 6.97 pH. The reason is because of the oak leaves, it does bring the the pH down quite a bit. Now in this tank I only put like 1 or 2 oak leaves, but in this tank, because I have fry, I put quite a bit of oak leaves, and it has been decaying over time, and I think that's what's causing the pH to go down quite a bit. Now on the plus side, what I have been doing was taking water out of here and replacing some of the water in my other tanks, which I think is definitely creating a more favorable condition for my other Plecos to spawn as well, because the pH being lower and the low nitrates because of the large volume water changes that are happening, and the pheromones coming in, and all these things added together, I think making a big difference. And another thing I noticed as well is all the tanks that I currently have fry in actively have dither fish. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Malik's Water Garden. In this video, we're just going to be talking about some of the things that are coming up in the upcoming video series. We are going to be doing an entire video series of how to take care of and breed zebra plecos with Dr. Thomas, who is a doctor in Europe, Belgium, and he actually has been breeding zebra plecos for 13 years plus, and he's willing to share all of his knowledge and experience with us, and through this channel, he wants to share it with the world. And also, he has put together an entire list of 20 separate points that he wants to touch on and elaborate on, and anything that I can add to. There's a lot of things that I do have some information on. There's things that I'm completely new to, so he's going to be giving me all this information, and anything that I can add to that, and I will, and we will be putting together an entire series of breeding videos about how to breed and take care of zebra plecos for long-term success. Now, also on top of that, I will also be adding on my own experience on how to breed wild-caught fish and what type of breeding triggers I use in my own fish room and all this other type of stuff. So I highly recommend you subscribe down below and hit that notification icon so you get updated when this video series as well as many other videos like this get uploaded. This entire channel is dedicated to advancing the fish keeping hobby and also to educating people on how we can take care of these animals properly. So if you do find value in this type of content, I highly recommend you share this channel with all your networks and all the other Facebook groups and whatnot you are a member of, so that the rest of your community becomes aware of this channel and gets to also enjoy some of the valuable content that I am offering through this channel. The channel's growing really fast, so thank you so much for that. And today was supposed to be the video being released, but I am still in the process of editing, so I decided I'm going to make this little vlog for you guys and let you guys know what is coming your way. So the channel has grown over 1,000 subscribers, and thank you so much. And as a thank you, we are putting together this video series as well as a few other different video series like how to breed wild-caught plecos and stuff like that, and these will be stuff coming up in the upcoming days and weeks and months. So highly recommend staying tuned and hitting that notification icon so you get updated when these videos as well as many other videos like that get uploaded. Now, without further ado, I'm going to talk about some really cool stuff that's going on in the fish room. There's a lot of spawning happening, and I actually have learned through the last few days of having communication with Dr. Thomas that there are things that I haven't been paying attention to that I might have even been doing that were working in my fish room, but without me knowing it that they have worked. So one of the things that I realized is that there are breeding triggers. For example, once one tank has started spawning, the other tanks, if I can get some water out of one tank into the other tanks, there are chances that that might trigger spawning. So I have been doing that in the past, and I just haven't realized that that's what I've been doing. The tanks that are behind you, the L199 and the 471 tanks, have constantly been getting water from this tank, which is a little bit more stable. So the TDS in here stays quite stable between water changes, so the nitrates don't really fluctuate too much. And because that, I've been taking water out of this tank and filling up the other tanks. The tanks that I have done that to already have fry. So this tank is one of my most productive tanks this year, and the tanks that I have moved water from this tank to have already started spawning. Now today I actually have thought about this quite a bit, and on the next water change schedule, I am going to be taking water from this tank, and I'm going to be filling up some of my zebra pleco tank with that water. So that the hope is that the breeding pheromones that are in this tank gets transferred into this tank, which will send these guys into overdrive and start spawning. There are some gravid females. I don't know if you can see, there's a gravid female there. There's another gravid female back here as well, and there's some males as well, but they haven't actually shown intense signs of spawning. The females have been showing a lot of spawning activity, but the males have not really been too excited. So I think the pheromones coming into the water system might really trigger that. Also, something that Dr. Thomas actually talked about quite a bit with me, and he said the animals do breed readily in pretty much any types of water, but to trigger spawning, you definitely need to have low KH and a low pH. So like when I say low pH, it's about between 6 and 6.5 of pH, and a KH of between 1 and 2 is what he recommended. He did mention that a few other breeders that are from Europe have noticed that when the KH drops really low, that's when the zebra plecos just spawn like rabbits. So that's something to really pay attention to. And having said that, I also did some testing of my pH recently, actually this afternoon when I was doing water changes, and I found out that in this tank the pH is at about 6.4. Now, I think the reason for that is because I don't really do large volume water changes in here, so the water is quite stable, and there's not a lot of accumulated nitrates, and it's a quite stable environment. So because of that, a lot of times I only take about 30-35% of water, and I fill it back with like fresh water. But there's a lot of tannins, and there's a lot of leaf litter and whatever on the tank, which I think is adding to the acidity of the water, and the breaking down leaves and stuff is definitely making the tank quite acidic. Now, I did not realize that this was going on, and until Dr. Thomas actually brought it to my attention yesterday while we were talking on FaceTime. And now I tested the water, and I realized that the tank in here, this behind me, is at 6.4 pH, and these other tanks, this is actually at about 6.97 pH. The reason is because of the oak leaves, it does bring the the pH down quite a bit. Now in this tank I only put like 1 or 2 oak leaves, but in this tank, because I have fry, I put quite a bit of oak leaves, and it has been decaying over time, and I think that's what's causing the pH to go down quite a bit. Now on the plus side, what I have been doing was taking water out of here and replacing some of the water in my other tanks, which I think is definitely creating a more favorable condition for my other plecos to spawn as well, because the pH being lower and the low nitrates because of the large volume water changes that are happening, and the pheromones coming in, and all these things added together, I think making a big difference. And another thing I noticed as well is all the tanks that I currently have fry in actively have ditherfish. Now ditherfish like these tetras and whatever, I don't actually have any tanks that don't have ditherfish, don't also have fry. So I need to actually put small ditherfish into the tanks that I want to get the spawnings going. So I am picking up a bunch of different endlers and guppies and stuff that I'm going to be quarantining for a while, and adding to my setups to help with making my fish feel a little bit more comfortable. And also I've been reading, and also Dr. Thomas said that the guppies release a pheromone that definitely makes your Pleco spawn. So this is, I believe, 100%, because I know that when stir-by quarries and other types of corridora start spawning, the Plecos pick up the pheromones and they start spawning. So if I have a quarry spawn in one of my tanks, usually this doesn't happen too often in the summer when it's this hot, but when they do start spawning either in the spring or fall, I definitely take water from their tank and move it into other tanks to trigger spawnings from other quarries as well as my Pleco. So I really understand that could be a real big possibility, and so I'm going to have some guppies in the tanks moving forward. So that's something that we are going to be doing. I do have some male guppies here and there, and they are releasing pheromones in tanks. I'm pretty sure you've seen them throughout the fish room tours. There's like the odd male guppy in a tank, and so this is, I think, also helping with the spawning triggers. So we're going to be looking into this in quite detail in the upcoming video series. It's about 4 or 5 separate videos that are coming out. So I highly recommend you subscribe down below and hit that notification icon so you get updated when these videos, as well as many videos like this, get uploaded. So this video is supposed to get the conversation started. The first video that we are going to be releasing from Dr. Thomas is going to be his own experience on how he lost his 27 or 28 zebra plecos within a span of 3 days. Imagine how brutally hard that must be for a person to lose that many fish in such a short period of time. And also some things that he has been growing out since they were babies, and since they've been born in his facility. So it's been very difficult for him, and he actually went through quite a bit of trauma through that experience, and learning what he learned through it, he wanted to share with you guys. So that's going to be the first video coming up. So watch the next video coming out, and watch till the end, because you're going to be learning a lot about advanced fish keeping. And then we are going to be touching on every different thing that he wants to talk about in terms of breeding in the next coming 4 videos or 5 videos. There will also be a B-roll video of all of his Pleco tanks, as well as some of the zebra Pleco and L236 tanks of some of the high, very professional Pleco breeders from Europe. So we will be showing all the tanks in detail, and there will be descriptions, and I'll narrate below, and so it'll be really nice. So you'll love it. There'll be music and everything. So it will be entertaining, but it will be also very educational. We talk about the cave angles and to make slate, like all the stuff that I'm doing here, he explains in quite detail. So we're going to be looking at all of that. So stay tuned, subscribe down below, hit the notification icon so you get updated when all these videos as well as many other similar content gets uploaded. As always, I thank you so much for your love and continued support to this channel. I love you all. I'll see you on the next video. God bless you.